back here on this Friday with another live for you guys. Obviously, we do these every single Friday. You guys make sure you show up and get your questions answered. We're happy to answer them for you. We definitely want you guys on here engaging with us. Like I said, just ask questions in the chat. We're happy to answer them for you. But today's topic is all on maintaining mystery, making sure that she stays curious about you. So, Jared actually did a video on this last week. You can find the link for that video below. And we actually created a whole new landing page and stuff too to make sure you can actually follow us across all of our other channels. So you can see all of our reels and shorts that are going live. We're going to be posting to Twitter here a lot more and stuff too. So make sure you follow us on those channels. And I'm Chase. This is my good friend here, Jared.
Hey guys, Jared Schumacher. Hope everyone's going to have an amazing weekend coming up. Father's Day's coming, so for those of you who maybe don't have a father anymore, take a little moment to remember him. Hopefully, the good things he's brought into your life, and the ones who have fathers now, celebrate them because you don't know when the last time you're going to see them.
Truth. I definitely can relate to that for sure.
Yeah. I got my two kids. We're planning on something on Sunday. A little hard because Madison runs one of my companies, and we fired a couple people. So I was like, well, you got to work. And you know what? I might have to work there too. Actually, I might have to jump in to help her out. So we might be working Father's Day, but we'll see.
Fair enough. I totally get that too. I actually do a lot of work in my dad's agency and stuff too, helping coach agency owners, helping people make online passive income, all that stuff too. So I totally get that. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, yeah, the topic for today, staying mysterious in the relationship. And really what that means is like, don't text her too much. Don't try and be like overshare, right? Don't try and share every aspect of your life, especially about your exes. We don't want to be talking about that stuff either. We don't want to come off as insecure. And a lot of that time, like when you're sitting there thinking, like it really comes down to your overthinking, the mindset of it all. You start thinking, oh, well, maybe she doesn't care. Oh, well, maybe she didn't care to hear that, or maybe she doesn't reply to you right away. So you start replying to her a whole bunch of times too. Like I said, Jared covered this quite a bit in the link below on the video that we posted earlier this week. So that's really what it's all about, is maintaining that mystery. It's all about keeping her curious in the relationship. She doesn't need to know every single thing that you're doing. Obviously, it doesn't matter what you're doing. And as long as you can maintain that mystery, you kind of leave it up to her to decide what you're doing instead of telling her all these things.
Yeah. And Chase and I come kind of from two different worlds. Chase is married, so he's going to be able to speak on what he does or what he's found to work on, maybe keeping the mystery alive when you're married, because not only is he married, his wife works with him. So they're together 24/7. So that actually creates a lot of issues. Chase, we've gotten some emails in the past from guys saying, hey, I'm forced to work from home now. And so it's not just a matter of having some type of a mystery on the front end. It's also more important middle and back end of a relationship, whether it's a long-term relationship or a marriage. But the point of the video in the beginning is, and I kind of gave some of my own personal issues I had when I got back out there and dating, is I made the mistakes of over investing in a woman too soon, oversharing, over texting, over calling, over communicating. And I found through my own coaching, people I've hired, and through the people I've taught, and real world experience, is you have to have a little bit of a mystery about you on the front end. There has to be a little bit more that it's like a slow burn, meaning you want to give her a little bit more, digest it, kind of want more. What often happens is a guy, there's a couple scenarios, but it always ends up the same. The guy will overinvest in texting and phone calls, and he goes the route of I'll make her feel comfortable via text and phone calls, and they end up oversharing. And two things happen: either A, She knows everything about you and probably either doesn't like the package or realize I already got this guy. He's way too into me and there's no challenge, there's no chase. And they completely lose interest.
Yep.
And the second side is you overinvest, you overshare, you overcall, but you don't actually ask and move it to a date. So the longer this happens, in her mind, she's like, is he ever going to ask me out? All in the same time this is happening, other dudes are messaging her. Other people are trying to come in on her. That's what, however you met her. You could have met her on a dating app, through a friend, or whatever. So there's other males trying to pine for her, and you haven't even asked her out. You're just going the route of, I'm going to tell her my last 40 years in text message and phone calls. And then she stops communicating with you. And she might even say, hey, I don't think this is going to work out. Appreciate your time. Good luck. And you're wondering, what the F? Because you shared too much and you weren't assertive enough in the actual going out on a date, trying to get her out on a date. See, a lot of times what happens, attraction, you can't gauge attraction via text and email. Yeah, you can get a little bit of it. She likes you, you like her, but you can't possibly gauge true attraction until you're right there, talking to each other, interacting, maybe touching, kissing, whatever. You can't gauge that on the phone. And so the faster you get them on a date, the faster you can see if there is a chemistry, if there is an attraction. The other part of why remaining a mystery is so important is just that women want to feel like they're in a love story. That makes sense. They want to feel courted. They want to feel like, what's going to happen next? Is he going to call me again? Is he going to text me? How does that interaction go? You want to throw them off their game because most guys will take the other route. They will call and text and like, this is going awesome. This is great. And then you are a completely different anomaly. You're not texting her too much. As soon as you got her number, you made enough banter. You were cordial, but you kept your text short. You said, when are you free to get together? You set a date.
Right.
There's no other reason to text her after she said yes. Because what happens is you start wanting her to like you. And so you start texting more and she'll suck the energy right out of you. They love the attention. She'll fucking suck it out of you until she's bored with you. You don't want that to happen, so you want to give her a little bit at a time. Get her out on a date. Limit those texts. Limit that communication. During that time, you also want to, I've seen it a lot of times where, guy will just like, what are you doing? He doesn't really care what she's doing. He's checking in like, do you still like me? That's kind of what that means. You still interested in me? So believe me, guys, if she's interested in you, they make it very easy. She doesn't want to screw it up more than you do, but typically the guys are the ones that are going to screw it up. They're going to overinvest too much. So they're going to overshare. And typically what also happens is they might text or say something on a phone call that they think is funny or cute. She thinks it's completely offensive and you're fucked.
Right.
So this is why you want to front part of the relationship. Keep your texts very quick. No long text, just cool. Yup, can't wait to meet you. See you Friday. Boom. Then you talk to her face to face. That's how you do it. You don't do it the other way because it generally doesn't work that way. Right. Attraction grows in space. She has to wonder about you. She has to think, what is he doing? And if you Always tell her what you're doing. You just blew that image she's creating of you because you're not talking. You just screwed it all up. I made a great couple shorts on this, but in the video, they're going to create scenarios that you're probably
Yes.
not going to do, but they will create them. And then your reality is I'm on the couch watching or playing Madden, whatever fuck Madden game is. And she's like, shit, completely dried her out. She completely like the fantasy you ruined for her. And so when we talk about remaining a mystery, I do want to preface it by not being sneaky, not being backhanded. It's just having a mystery about you, getting her to kind of invest in you, wanting to know more,
Right.
and you invest in her. It's nothing to do about being sneaky, nothing to do with that. But they don't have to know everything about you, and really, ever. There should be some parts of you. There's no reason for them to ever know. You don't have to say, huh?
You want to be vague, like don't overshare. That's really the biggest thing. Is it's not necessarily sharing something that's false. It's really just not sharing everything. Like really, at the end of the day, like she is building these scenarios up in their head. That's what women do. Like they honestly just sit and think everything into existence, and they have this whole reality of what they think their life is built up in their head. And if you really want to be the guy that's remaining a mystery, just because you're being vague, you have vague answers. You're not telling her no. You're not ignoring her outright. You're just not responding right away, and you're not sharing every single aspect of your life with her. Like save that stuff for the date, save that stuff for in person. There's not everything you need to share in text and all that stuff too, because text can be misconstrued. Like everybody can misconstrue a text. I can't tell you how many texts I've sent, even in sales and stuff too, where people just took it the wrong way, and there's nothing you can do to really control that. People are going to take things however they're going to take it, so just reserve that stuff, save it, and just make sure that you don't overshare, because then that leaves the mystery in her head and she's thinking about you. Because there's a lot of guys that are probably in her inbox that are oversharing, that are blowing her up, and then that takes you to the forefront too. That puts you above them, because now she's wondering about you, and she's building those scenarios up about you because she knows everything about these other guys.
Yeah, most guys don't know this. If you're following this and you've followed us in the past in our videos, look at your competition is about 98% morons. They have no clue how any of this works. And just because I say it, it seems shocking. Like, oh my God, I can't tell you how many girls said I'm misogynist. And then I can't tell you how many girls says you're freaking right. I'm like,
oh yeah.
If a guy maintains his mystery, yes, of course, if she asks a question that you feel is pertinent that she needs to know, you can answer it. But if it's none of her damn business, you don't have an obligation to her. She's not your wife. You have to pick and choose what you tell her. And you're exactly right. Sometimes a little vague would actually help. Like, hey, I'll tell you Saturday.
Right.
Or the text out of the blue. What are you doing? Don't answer it. Leave it on red. Say, Gus, what do you think I'm doing? You don't have to answer it. You can play with it.
True.
It's going to spike her emotion. That's going to create her to be like, what is this guy doing? What is he about?
Yes.
By continually telling her, I'm at the gym. I'm getting milk. I'm petting the cat. I'm cooking dinner. All the minutia of your life, that's what's going to make her be like, what the fuck? Like, you're screwing in her mind, her fantasy.
Becoming boring. Like, it's boring stuff. It's mundane stuff. Like, nobody wants to know that stuff about you. Nobody really cares. Like, you really want to stay interesting is the biggest thing.
You want to stay interesting, and on top of that, you want to stay consistent in some things. You know, if, you know, like my girlfriend says, you're very consistent. Usually I'm the one in the morning that will just text her, only because my mornings could be busier than hers. It's just how it is. Usually good morning, whatever. There's a consistency in it, but it's not boring. There might be days throughout the day I don't message her at all or very quickly. I'm very busy. She might message me, what are you doing? 5 hours later, I'm like, fuck, oh, well, I'm busy. You know? But keeping that mystery, keeping that little bit of edge about you is going to take your relationship, say it's day one, first date, whatever, and it's going to give her a slow burn to want to know more and more. And that's a better position for you as a man to be on, because the more drawn she is, the more she's going to want to know. And again, if you are looking for a relationship, she's going to be the one that brings it up. That's another problem guys do is they might go too soon on the relationship. They go all in, like first or second date. I can't tell you how many girls I've talked to that they're using we and us on the first date, and the girl's like, I just met you. What you want to go away on vacation? It's too much. And you're not giving her any, like, she already knows about you. She says, all right, this is a serial kind of weirdo. Like, already we're going on vacation, or
You got to
already
pace it.
she knows what type of person this is. If you're the opposite and you go, hey, had a great time tonight, good night, give her a kiss, whatever, don't set the next date. Just wait a couple days. Have some dialogue. When can I see you again? Oh my God, they go nuts. You want to see me again? Because most guys are planning the next freaking date on the first date. So just keep
They're
that
in a hurry.
They're in a hurry. They're in a hurry for no reason.
Right.
And so what happens is guys will completely flip and be the freaking girl and be like, do you want to be my girlfriend? What are we? All of this weird shit. And it's the girl, you don't know if she's ready for a relationship. So
Right.
the best way to do it is freaking nothing until she brings up those buzzwords. What are we? I've been really thinking about us. Like what do you want to do? What direction? In womanese, she's telling you, I'm ready for a relationship with you. I'm ready. My phone, my dick in a box phone, I'm putting it down. Because all women have that.
Right.
All women have that. They
True.
have way more options than men. Doesn't mean they have guys waiting like secretively, but they can call any one of her guy friends, any one of them, or any guy who's thirsty on Facebook, and that guy will be there in 10 minutes or less. Like a Domino's pizza, he'll be there.
Every girl. Every single one of them, pretty much. That's exactly what you can expect, is like just guys, man. It's all these guys out there that are just pining for them. Like, you know how many of them are on her Instagram posts like, oh, you're so gorgeous, oh, you're so beautiful. Just go to any Instagram model's page and you'll see that stuff. Oh, you're so gorgeous, oh, look how beautiful you are, oh, you're so cute, that kind of stuff. And man, that's just simp stuff. That's really what that stuff is. That's really what you're coming off as. And like, it's not like she cares. She'll take the attention. She doesn't care. She's not going to tell you not to do it. But at the same time, she doesn't respect you. And so that's the biggest thing, is if you're the guy that's the mystery, you keep her talking. Like, one thing, I read the book The Game by Neil Strauss when I was trying to learn about sales, because dating is a lot like sales. And one thing I can tell you in sales is the guy that talks the most loses. You got to listen. It's all about investigating. It's all about trying to understand her more, asking her questions, keeping her talking, and completely being vague until it's time to make the sale.
Yeah. That's in any sale, but especially for women. You want to get a woman to fall in love with you, ask her questions about herself. They fucking love to talk about themselves. So all you got to do is shut up and ask her questions. Tell me more. Oh my God. You're a hairstylist. Amazing. How did you get into that? They'll go, and you don't have to say much, and they'll think you're the most intriguing person. He's so mysterious. No, because you talked the entire date, but that's by design. It's not, I'm not being a dick. I mean, that's by design. True. Get her to talk more. When she asks a question, slowly there's a girl I just coached, and she's one of my long-term coaching, and she was telling me she went on this date, and the guy would not shut up the entire time. Didn't even ask her questions, just freaking talk like a girl the entire time. I said, how did that make you feel? He goes, I felt like I was the man and he was the woman.
That's a good way to put it.
He told her everything about his parents, his brother who lives, she doesn't even know where because he would not come up for air. Just everything. Guys, if you've done this in the past and you think it's helping your position on the board, it's not. She'll start viewing you as a friend, maybe like, hey, we got a lot of similarities, but you're
Yep.
doing nothing downstairs for me because this is crazy. So your best position is to just pull back, take it easy, relax, live your life. Yeah, you got a girl talking to you. Great, awesome, good for you. You want to screw it up real quick? Overinvest, over talk, do it. That's the easiest way to screw it up. Once she realizes that she has you and the mystery is gone, she's done. She's done. How can you say that, Jared? Because it's been proven over and over and over again. It's done. The only time that she'll stay is obviously if there's a high attraction, you've had sex and all this, but front part of it, no. Keep that edge about you. And so once you move it into more of a long-term relationship, maybe I don't recommend this, but maybe you moved in.
Oof.
The problem with that is it's harder to maintain mystery because you're there all the time. And this is where you would be able to kind of jump in more, even though I was married. Like, you still have to maintain your friends, going to the gym, doing your passions, separate away from her, realizing that you're an individual and she's an individual. So that's the biggest thing that you got to, as you move it into a more of a longer relationship, it's even more important to maintain that mystery. Maybe you could speak a little bit more on that and like you and your marriage. And
No, absolutely. That's totally true, because that's the biggest thing too. Is me and my wife, we're together a lot of the time. So like, because we work together, we live in Mexico together. We moved down to Cabo San Lucas a couple years ago, living the digital nomad lifestyle. Obviously, we've got 4 kids and 2 dogs. We all live in the same house. We work out of the same house. There's always a ton of stuff going on. Like right now, trying to get our AC fixed, and we got the maid here is cleaning everything up. We've got the nanny, all that stuff, taking care of everything, and there's just a lot of stuff going on all the time. And so obviously that's overwhelming in itself. But at the same time, when me and her are here working with each other too, like, we're always talking about client strategy, we're always talking about marketing strategies, all that stuff. And so we're talking a lot all the time. We know everything about each other. We've been together for almost 20 years now. And so it's just, that's what happens. That's the nature of the game. But I can tell you one thing is that things get very mundane very fast. Like, she gets sick of me. I get sick of her. We need to get away from each other sometimes. We got to have our own hobbies, our own friends, that kind of stuff. There's sometimes when I'll just go to the gym because I just don't want to be at the house, just because we got to create some mystery. We've got to create some separation there sometimes. It's not that we don't love each other or anything like that. It's just that we get sick of each other. It happens. Like, going for a hike up the mountain and stuff here is important. Going to the beach and stuff by myself, spending that alone time, letting her do the same thing, and not asking her like, well, where are you going? What are you doing? What are you gonna go do? They don't need to know. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna go hang out with my buddy Danny. I'm gonna go hang out with my buddy Carlos. That's what we're gonna go do. I don't know what we're gonna do. There's tons of stuff to do here. Well, wherever it takes us. At the end of the day, it's not that I'm being secretive. It's not that I'm being untrustworthy or anything like that. It's just that you've got to create that mystery. She's got to wonder what you're doing, where you're at. And it kind of works both ways too. Like, if you're wondering about her all the time too, like, obviously that's an unhealthy relationship. You can't sit and wonder whether she's being faithful or what she's out doing, if she's out hanging out with the girlfriends. If you don't trust her girlfriends, it's up to you to set the boundaries and the rules for that.
Sure. Also, another part of more of a long-term relationship marriage is what a lot of the same responses that I hear either I'm coaching women or men. On the women's side is he's changed, or he doesn't, things are boring, or things are stale. Okay. Now in womanese, that means you're not dating her. You're maybe going to the same freaking restaurant you go to every Thursday. Maybe the vacations you go on are the same vacation, the same week the same year, the same time. She knows you. She knows your routine. She knows you're boring. Well, sadly, men, what happens is you can be a really good guy, really nice guy, but her hypergamous nature is going to kick in.
Right.
And she's going to start looking for excitement. You're going to start looking for excitement too, but because you're the man and you're married or you're in this, it's really up to you to keep dating her, to keep that mystery. Hun, we're going out, we're going away this weekend. Where are we going? My mom's already got the babysitter. Don't worry about that. Pack a light bag. Holy shit. She's like, he never does this. Keep that mystery. Keep her emotions, good or bad. It doesn't matter. An emotion is emotion. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Sometimes bad is better, but keep her emotions. Keep her wondering, like, Jesus, okay, this is cool. This is a different kind of Jared. All of a sudden, we went to Florida for the weekend. We've never done this. You do some stuff like this every once in a while, she's not going anywhere. You're spiking her. Like, this is crazy. But a lot of men fall into this routine, and routine is okay.
It's just comfort.
It's comfort, but it also generates boredom, and boredom generates wonder. Wonder starts increasing, looking for excitement. Wonder what was out there. Wonder if Steve from accounting, he keeps looking at me. I know, I'll dress a little more provocative at work and see.
Exactly.
I'm not saying all women do this, but they are all going to test the waters if you're failing as a man.
They're not going to tell you. That's the biggest thing too, is they're not going to tell you. They're not going to come talk to you and be like, you know what, Chase, like, things have been really boring lately. I'm so bored and I want some excitement. I want to feel that spark again. She's not going to come do that, man. There's no way. She's not going to come tell you that. It's up to you to set the frame for the relationship. We talked a little bit about that last week. Obviously, you set the rules, you set the frame, they follow your lead. I mean, obviously it's important to have boundaries, but your boundaries are more important than hers. I mean, it's important to respect her boundaries and listen to her and understand that, but you set the boundaries. That's up to you. That's the man's job. And at the end of the day, if you're not stepping up and if you're not fulfilling on that stuff, that's your fault. So you have to understand that if she is out there wondering if you're her best option, if she is out there about ready to cheat on you, whatever, if she is out there being really hypergamous with this stuff, if she is out there dressing provocatively, that is on you. That's your fault. Like, you didn't have good enough boundaries. You didn't set the frame the right way. You didn't do these things that keep her interested. And so she started seeking that interest elsewhere. And it's just what they do. They're not going to tell you these things. And I mean, I've been married for a long time, man. I know. I've seen the signs. I've seen all this stuff go on. You got to keep that spark alive. You got to make sure that she continues to be happy in the relationship. So, yeah, I mean, if you got to do a weekend getaway, if you got to maybe just go on a quick vacation somewhere, you set all that stuff up. Like, I can tell you right now, like, I have kids and stuff too. So if I ask my parents across the street to watch the kids, and then I tell Kimberly, like, oh, hey, man, pack a light bag, we're going to go somewhere, don't tell her where. Like, dude, they love that excitement. That's what they love. And just make sure she has a good time. You got to make sure you continue dating her. You got to have a weekly dating night, and you set up the reservations. You take her out. You pay for everything. You take care of it. You drive. You open her door. All that stuff. If you keep doing that stuff, she's going to stay interested.
Yeah. And that, again, that's more the back end, that long-term relationship. But
it's different.
It's different. But if we can kind of remember, this is all the same stuff I did with her in the beginning. What changed? The only thing that changed is there's time and comfort got involved. And so you have to recognize that, like, just because there's time and familiarity and comfort, you still have to spike emotion. You still have to kind of work on making her fall in love with you all over again. And it's every day, it's a process. And, pretty much everybody, but everybody, kind of buys on emotion and they back into shit with logic. So that's kind of how the first part of your dates work is it's all emotion, guys and girls. She's perfect. She's thinking he's perfect, all this stuff. And then comfort kicks in. And then you hear in a couple years, something's changed. He's different. Things don't feel the way they used to because
it's going to be gradual.
You stopped number one, you stop dating or you stop courting her. Probably number two, you have a death by 1,000 concessions, and you
Right.
started slowly losing your frame, and you've actually become kind of a bitch. And now she's lost respect for you, and that's a
Right.
whole other thing. But and we won't get into that too much because we're talking about maintaining a mystery. But these all go into each other.
It's reality.
There are certain parts of you as a man she doesn't need to know. She doesn't have a right to know. There's no point in telling her. There's certain parts of you, maybe when you were little, maybe even about your day. Who gives a
Right.
shit? You don't have to feel like you have to tell her everything about your day. Women do that. Oh, fuck. They'll go on and on about they met Sarah. She was wearing red shoes, and they get into all these details about it. And you just want to know, oh, you met Sarah today. Great, cool. That's how we quantify it. Hope you had a good time.
Right.
They'll go into the details of Sarah, and she wore a blouse but didn't match her shoes, and I can't believe she was talking to
They
Tim.
read into it. Yeah.
Holy Christ. You know, I don't know where I was going with that, but they all do it. It's like, holy shit, they can't tell a story. Just get to the point. Guys, we're more to the point. When guys get around, we don't really talk. We grunt, might nod, and we all have a great time. We don't need to
Yeah.
freaking talk that much.
It's simple.
So be the guy. You don't have to match her words with your words, meaning women talk on average 3 times more than a man.
Right.
Understand that they love to freaking talk. You don't need to match that. If you're not used to talking and you start going out, that's part of your mystery. Like you don't feel like you need to amp up your talking. And then when you get back into this normal paradigm with her, he doesn't talk to me anymore. Well, no, he's never talked. He was forced to talk. So he's making a concession in the beginning, feeling like he has to talk to win her over. That's not how this works.
Well, even if she's not talking, she's thinking. That she's in her head. Like she's sitting there having a conversation in her head, building up a whole different reality. It's what they do.
Yeah.
And men don't do that stuff. Like, have you ever seen the meme out there where it's like, oh, I'll bet he's thinking about other women. And they go to the guy and he's like, oh, I wonder what's wrong with my car. It's like,
Right.
it's just, that's what it is, man. We're simple. We don't sit there and overthink that stuff and build up all these realities in our head. The thing is, too, is women love gossip. They love, I mean, have you seen The View? Those shows that they have on there all day, all the women's TV shows. They have all these freaking soap operas and all that stuff, like the Jerry Springer Show and Maury and whatever else, right? They love drama. They love digging into drama. Men hate it. They don't like drama. They don't want anything done with drama. They're action takers. We're goal setters. We're achievers. That's what we do. That's when we're happy. We just like to get out there and do the things that we love, and we don't like to be bothered by it. And so that's the thing, is like when you start to worry about the drama and when you start to over talk or you start to overthink, that's woman stuff, man. Like you're acting like a woman, and they're going to think that too, and it's going to cause them to lose respect for you.
Yeah.
And then there's no attraction, and then it's gone, and then everything starts to fall apart. And they're not going to tell you this stuff. That's what that's the point I was trying to make. It's like they're not going to tell you. It's going to be a gradual process, just like that death by 1,000 concessions.
Yeah.
And like I said, none of this stuff is obvious, and it doesn't really have to be. The whole point is just to not overshare. Don't get off your path and purpose. Stay on your path and purpose. Keep doing the things that you love. Keep doing the hobbies. Keep hanging out with the people that you like, and don't be around her 24/7 because it's just going to ruin the relationship.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because part of my video I explained it. Maybe I should re-explain it because some people didn't get it. I love my brother, and he probably will watch this, but he falls into this a lot in his relationships. Now, thank God he actually has found a really good girl. They've been with each other for a while. But when he first starts dating somebody or has dated somebody, he's with her from date one until she breaks up with his ass. He doesn't understand space. And one of the ways, guys, we want to be with them. I get it. You meet a beautiful woman and she's engaging. Maybe you kissed her the first date. Maybe you had sex with her. It doesn't matter. You want to be with her. You are already all in. That's kind of how guys are. We're very visual creatures. We see a beautiful woman, we can already picture her in a wedding dress and kids. Women don't do that.
Right.
Women are more of a slow burn, like wait and see. Yeah, he's a good looking guy. He said all the right things, but it's only the first date. They're a little bit more cautious, and rightfully so. They need to be.
Right.
But a good way to start limiting this and start increasing her attraction to you is do not date her no more than 2 dates a week. No more.
Right.
Don't see her. Yeah, you can talk to her, text her in between, but keep it no more between 2 dates a week. That's going to keep that mystery. And you want to stack your days. No, don't do a freaking Friday, Saturday. It's too much. Do, Wednesday, Saturday, however your schedules fall. But what that's going to do is in that time, then attraction grows in space. So it's in those spaces when you saw her is when she's going to start getting more attracted to you. Her mind's going to start playing all these fantasies. She's going to talk to her girlfriend. She's like, "Oh my God, he doesn't really say much, but they're gonna create the superhero out of you." And maybe in your free time, you're freaking playing Call of Duty. Who knows? I hope you're not, but who knows? But you don't want to tell her that. So you want to keep those dates very no more than 2 until you actually become an item. Then you can kind of give that up a little bit. I wouldn't suggest it too much more because you still have shit you should be doing if you're a man and you got a job and everything else. But you want to do that.
You got to have a life outside of her. That's the biggest thing is understand. Like even if you're dating a girl and you really like her, like you should date some other girls at the same time. She's definitely going to be dating other guys. You guys got to make sure you're a good fit. And at the same time, like I understand that like when you really like a girl, you want to spend as much time with her as possible. For one thing, like you really like her, you like spending time with her, you like being around her. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day too, like you got to understand that like every freaking guy that she's dating or that's talking to her is doing that. And like I said, you want to be the guy that stands out by being the mysterious one, by making her wonder, by making her think about you. It's a head game. And so that's the biggest thing is understanding that like just because you're physically with her doesn't mean that she's not going to be out there dating other guys, whatever, right? Like I know that you want to spend every night with her, you want to go have dinners with her, you want to spend time with her outside of work or whatever. I mean, that's cool, especially like once you've been together for a few months. But at the end of the day, you got to date other girls to make sure she's the right one, for one thing. For another thing, you've got a life outside of her. You got to go spend time with your friends. You got to go to the gym. You've got to take care of yourself. You got to spend time on your hobbies. Like you got to make sure that your time is occupied with these things so you're not just sitting around thinking all the time. That's the problem with video games too. You're going to sit around in the video game, you're playing the video game and that's cool, but it's like you're going to sit there and overthink. And so get out there, go fishing, go for a hike. Go do something that you like doing. Go work on cars, whatever it is. Find a hobby that you like doing that takes up a lot of your time and do a lot of that because then that occupies you and you're not thinking about her all the time. And like I said, if you're dating other girls too, then that frees up a couple nights a week to try and date some other girls. And if you find one that you really like, don't sit and wonder whether she's out there dating other guys. That's not good for you. That's not good for her. Don't sit and wonder if she's out there having sex, this, that, or whatever. And that because that's just going to make you want to be with her more. That's going to make you want to make sure that her time is occupied with you. It's a head game. It has nothing to do with physical activity. It has everything to do with the head game. And if she's wondering about you, she's not interested in these other guys. That's the key thing. She's not interested in having sex with these other guys. She's not interested in dating these other guys. She's probably sitting around doing all the things that you're doing, pretty much nothing all the time, or out there talking to her girlfriends or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, don't wonder what she's doing. Just occupy yourself with your hobbies. Occupy yourself with the other things that you have going on. Have a life outside of her before the relationship, during the relationship, after the relationship. Never give up on that path and purpose. Just live your life.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect. And you said it because there's this idea called one-itis, and a lot of guys fall into this when they get into maybe first or second date. They're all in. This is the only one in their mind. She's the one. This is it. She's for me. Well, you don't know that. She may, again, like you said, be dating other people. And the probability that she might not be dating other people, but talking to people, you got to ask yourself, where did you find her? Oh, a dating app, Joe.
Right.
Oh, so
Exactly.
you found her on a dating app. Do you think she's off that dating app? Why would she be? You guys aren't an item yet.
She's got 10 other
So,
messages.
and that's fine. That's fine as long as you're the different one. They most guys detonate themselves
Right.
before the first date. It's their texting game makes them want to vomit. So don't even worry about that. But what I'm saying is you have to avoid one-itis. And the only way to do that is if you found her on a dating app, well, that means you're on the dating app. Don't close your dating app.
Right.
Keep talking to girls. You don't have to date them. You don't have to sleep with them. But as long as you're interacting with other girls, it gets that neediness off of you, that neediness behavior.
Right.
And women can smell a needy man, can smell it 200 miles away, like this
Just like
motherfucker.
sales.
So you want to not be needy. Hey, love to see you Friday. Oh, I have plans. What are you doing? Oh, cool. No problem. You make other plans. Keep that version or that idea of one-itis. That will screw you up.
Mm-hmm.
And even as you're in long-term relationships and marriage, it's not so much one-itis now because you are with them, but it's the idea that you want to keep yourself physically. This is part of mystery. You keep yourself physically fit, active, look good as possible, because here's the other thing that's going to help keep her. Women want a man who could cheat, who has the ability to cheat. Other women find him attractive, but she doesn't want him to do it.
Right.
That's also part of mystery because you're keeping yourself. You're basically keeping yourself. Maybe you're retired now. You're married. You're retired from dating, but you still train. I'm still training. So if you F up, I'm right back out there in the ring.
Yep.
That's what keeps them like, fuck, this dude, like he's show ready.
Truth.
Show ready. And that also keeps that mystery going. That keeps it like, okay, like he's got his shit on lock. He still looks good. Other girls message him even on his pictures. I better not screw this up because he will walk. He will be like, I'm done with this and go find somebody else. It's the idea of having options. You can generate options.
I've seen it. I've experienced it, man. That's the biggest thing too, is a lot of guys, especially in this coaching program too. Like we help a lot of guys that are going through breakups, divorces, that kind of stuff. They've been in long-term relationships. They're trying to overcome it. And at the end of the day, like they wait until the relationship is over to start fixing themselves, to start building themselves. And one thing I've seen guys that get into this before the relationship is over. I've seen guys that get into this after the relationship is over. But one thing that remains consistent is as soon as he starts working on himself and as soon as he has options, she sees that. Especially when they have kids with her and stuff too. Like they'll see it like, oh my God, now she's interested again. Now she wants to get back together. And then they start wondering about you again. If you do this before the relationship is over, she's going to be fully back on board, fully respecting you again, feeling like you're becoming the person who she fell in love with again. And so that's the big thing. If you're in a long-term relationship, like start working on yourself now, because that's going to make her more interested. It's going to make you more interested too. And it's going to make her feel like you have options. She doesn't want some loser who just sits on the couch all day, who comes home from work and just goes to take a nap, doesn't take anything around the house, lets the yard go to shit. It is what it is. And so if he can't fix anything in the house or anything like that, he's not building any skills. Like she's not going to be interested that long. She's going to feel like, oh, this freaking loser. Like I got to get out of here. I got to get away from this guy. I got to find somebody who works on themselves. And if that's you, because it can be you, maybe you don't want to be in the relationship anymore. But the whole idea is that you want to actually have options. Don't just believe that you do. If you go to the gym and you work on yourself and you build some high value skills, maybe you start working on a side hustle in a business, you start spending more of your time on that. She's going to be much more interested at every single phase of the relationship.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And guys, you guys to remember, women always have options.
They do.
In my video, I know it was funny, but it's true. That phone is a dick in a box. 20 years of marriage, she can dust that off.
Oh yeah.
posting pictures up on Facebook, and bam, her shit's full again. We can't do that. So the best thing we can do is keep ourselves dating her, keep it mysterious, court her still, all of that stuff. Don't be boring. You can do so much to a woman, you can't bore her.
Right.
Stay in fighting shape. Like I said, maybe I kind of use it as a battle when you're younger. You're out there with your sword and you're trying to date women and all this. Well, one caught you. One, you got married. She locked you down. That doesn't mean you're not able to stay battle ready. Still
Right.
work out. Still take care of your health. Still take care of your skin. Still have dreams and go after them. Still have that. That's the sexiest part, too. This is also part of remaining a mystery. I know it seems like we're just adding stuff, but having goals and ambitions, that's the sexiest thing to a woman. You don't even have to be that good looking, but if you're a grinder and hustler and you have this positive attitude about you, she's going to be like, damn, okay, yeah, this guy,
Got to hold on to this guy.
got to hold on to this guy because I'm picking a winner. They pick winners, or they
Yes,
bet
sir.
on winners. Most of them sadly suck at picking winners, but they pick what they think is a winner and hope it gets to the
Right.
finish line. But this is also about just maintaining that edge about you. That's the edge. That's the mystery. That's the you are your own island. You dictate the relationship. You dictate the tempo. And it's up to you to maintain that spice. Having sex different places, but maybe it's always in the bed for Christ's sakes. Like, think outside the box. Be like, you know, you think this is common sense, but it's not. Because if it was common sense, we wouldn't have these problems we do. So it isn't common sense. Just think of every time when you first started dating your wife, go back to that time, she'll fall in love with you again.
Right.
If it's not too late. If she didn't have sex with somebody else, it's a whole other thing to get into that. But if it's not too late, you can get that back
Right.
because you never lose love, you lose respect. Love's always there. You know, once you lose respect, you kind of lose everything else, though. If the woman
Right.
stops respecting you, she's going to love you if you have kids together. She's going to love that part. Like you made those kids. There's always going to be a part of her that loves about you because you're the only two that can create those kids. So that's where that love comes from.
That's even the problem with dating single moms and stuff too. One
It's
thing you have to understand is like that other dad is obviously going to be a factor.
yeah,
It's just what it is. Like they never
yeah,
stop loving him. It is what it is.
yep. But even outside of that, it's just you want her to respect you and keeping that respect by keeping that mystery, keeping that edge, being your own island, doing your own path and purpose. Don't have cuts by 1,000 concessions when she wants you to go hang frickin' drapes on a Sunday, go to Target. I'm not doing that. It's not going to happen. Go find
Right.
someone else for that shit. You start like, oh yeah, Sunday's a good Target day. No, I got shit to do.
Take
And
him
this
off.
is and this is why I am the way I am. And again, good or bad, there's certain things. I'm just not. We're not going to do that crap. And so you can either be cool with it or not be and go find somebody who will placate to that bullshit, you
Yep.
know? And so it's just being that own focus. This is what I'll contribute, but I'm not doing this other stuff just
Well,
because
you, I
you
mean,
want me to.
you can't change anyone. Like you shouldn't change for anyone, first of all,
Yeah.
because it's just a path for misery. Like you're gonna make yourself incredibly unhappy trying to make somebody else happy.
Yeah.
And so the biggest thing too is like everybody's happiness is their own responsibility. Like my
Mhm.
happiness is my responsibility. My wife's happiness is her responsibility. That's
Yeah.
really not up to either one of us to make each other happy or to change to
Right.
make the other person happy. Obviously, that's codependency. A lot of that has to do with the nice guy syndrome stuff. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, like it's really all it is you can only make yourself happy and you can only work on yourself. You can't work on somebody else. You can't change somebody else, but you can change yourself.
Yep.
And so just focus on that. Just focus on changing yourself, making sure that you're the best person for you, not for anybody else, and don't try to change anybody else. If you're with somebody, you have a wife, girlfriend, long-term relationship, whatever it is,
Mhm.
if she isn't what you want, then you have to let her go. You have to cut this off because you're never going to be happy here. It's just,
Mhm.
it's never going to happen. She's not going to change for you. You shouldn't change for her.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. There's no compromise here. Like, you have to just get out of this relationship and go somewhere where you're going to be happy. And
Mhm.
she has to do the same because you guys aren't happy together. Like, because sometimes you just got to say, okay, well, we're not happy. I'm not changing. You're not changing. This is what
Mhm.
I want. This is what you want. We clearly don't align on these things. And then you go your separate ways. No harm, no foul, right? No hard
Right.
feelings.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. But this is a good one because, again, you just want to maintain a little bit about you that she doesn't need to know. Or
Right.
you give her a little bit, but there's just no point in it, especially early on. Remember, they want to be in a love story. You want to be
Right.
different. 98% of the men are going to do the opposite of this. And so if you're in that 2% that doesn't do this, you're automatically going to stand out. She's going to be like, wow, Jared doesn't really call me that much. He doesn't really text me that much. She's not going to say F Jared. She's like, huh, I like this Chase. I like this. He's not up my butt. And when she reaches out, you're like, hey, when are you free to get to boom, bam. She's like, oh my God, another date. You don't have to do it through text. You don't have to do it through phone. If the attraction is strong enough, it'll just happen. You just have to lead it.
Don't
So that's
force
the
it.
biggest, yeah, that's the
Don't
biggest
force it.
takeaway here is don't force anything and just let nature take its course. Be that person who's different because women want this. They want this type of guy. They're not out there.
Yeah.
They're not out there. And so when they find this type of guy, and the guy is legit and he is doing like he's practicing what he's preaching, she's not going anywhere. You didn't even laugh about it. Like, where are you going? Cool, go back out, swim out in the water where all the pee is. I ain't got time for this.
Well, the best advice I can give somebody in these scenarios is, like, you're gonna overthink. It's gonna happen. You're gonna sit and wonder. You're gonna think, and then you're gonna think, oh, well, maybe I should do this. Oh, well, maybe I should do that. Just occupy yourself, man. Go to the gym. Go out and do something that you love doing. Get a hobby. Go fix cars. Go learn a new skill. Go build a side hustle. Build a business. Just occupy yourself,
Yeah,
and you'll be fine.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I there was this. What is that? I think his name's Patience O'Neill. Do you remember?
Hmm.
He was a comedian.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah, yeah. I do.
him? He was like one of the original godfathers of like red pill and pickup. He was
Yeah, yeah.
6'4", bigger guy. He's kind of fat, but 6'4" is like 300 something pounds. And he said something about fishing and how women are like fishing, and he was like, "Listen, a woman or a girlfriend is just a fish that wouldn't get off the damn boat." He was explaining how men, you go out fish, you take a picture of the fish, but you throw it back in. And he's like,
Mhm.
she just found herself back in the boat. And then you're like, all right, you want to come home? And then you start dating.
Right.
And then they want you to get rid of your fishing pole. And or one day you want to go out in the boat with the guys. Why are you doing that? They want
Mhm.
you to change how you got them. Like, I got you this way by being a fisherman, by being really good at this. And now you want me to not do that. And so the point of that is just keep your skills up, keep your social
Yep.
skills up, even in a long-term relation. Don't be a recluse. You can talk to people. Again, we're not saying being sneaky, but you can be polite. You can know that you want to be fighting ready. I'm just going to leave it that way. You want to be able to, if something goes down, you get back out there and not start from a position of no one will want me.
Right.
You got to have that attitude. If you have that abundance mindset, You're going to do very well with this. And your girl's going to do better with this because she understands that, you know?
You got to do it unapologetically. Don't
Yeah.
apologize for who you are and
Yeah.
what you do and what you've always done. Don't feel sorry for it. Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And that's the thing too, is like she thinks she wants you to change, but she doesn't want you to change. She really doesn't want
Well,
that,
no,
because as
they
soon as you
do.
change, I mean, as
No,
soon as
no,
you
no.
change, she's not going to love you anymore. She's not going to respect you anymore. If she knows that she can change you, she's done. There's no way
Yeah,
that
no,
you.
I'll disagree with that because they want to change you into an image that they have built in their mind of you, and they want to change you. And so what they'll do is that he's too rough. Maybe I can get him to paint
Okay.
this room silver pink, or what, they'll start little by little. You started dating her and maybe you wear t-shirts and she doesn't like the t-shirts, so she buys you new t-shirts and you agree to put them on. Cut by a concession. Cut. She's slowly wearing you down.
Right, 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 right.
They can ground you down if you have the thought of, oh, I don't want her to be mad at me. I'll put on this salmon shirt. Yeah. Fuck that. No, they
I've
want
seen it.
to change
Yeah,
you.
you're right. No, you're
They
right.
want
I've
to
seen that.
change and emasculate you. It's up to you to recognize, no, you like me with this shirt on. What the hell's the point?
Hmm.
For the most part,
You got to hold your frame. Yeah.
there's some positive things, of course, a woman can, bring into your life. I'm not saying that, but no, they all want to change you. And once they change you, they got you. Once they got you, now they're like, you've changed. You're different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no.
That's when things start to become a problem. I saw a meme like that just the other day too, with this freaking guy who was like this hardcore kind of punk guy when she met him, and then all of a sudden, like, he got the tattoo covered up, started changing his haircut, and then all of a sudden she has a black baby with him, and it's like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is what it is. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they do try to change you. There is that death by a thousand concessions, like that was popularized by Rich Cooper, and he's
Yeah.
absolutely right about it. Like, they are going to sit there and try and grind you down and grind you
Yeah.
down and grind you down. That is why it's so important to hold your frame.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, this is a pretty juicy one. I hope you guys out there kind of understand this. Maybe you're pissed about this. Maybe you're like, damn, I do this all the time. Jump on a free call with me. We can definitely walk you through this,
Yeah.
maybe give you a little bit more insight on this. But this is the fastest way to get a woman to stop messaging you and stop wanting to date you is do this. Just do what I say opposite, and you'll be awesome sucking with women. You'll be awesome. But do what I say, it's going to give you that edge because it's been
Yes.
proven, not just by me, lots of people. And so that's what I want you guys to take away. Like, just be different. Be the authentic you. Know that it's okay to be who you are. But don't do what society says. Oh, yeah, no, you should bring her flowers and do all this crap. No, no, no. No, just stick to the basics, create that mystery, get her to invest in you a little bit. Then you're in a better position. We overinvest too much too soon as men. We all overinvest too much. Don't do that and let her invest into you. And the dynamic works better that way.
Right.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Absolutely. Totally
Yeah.
agree. We're coming up on the hour now. If you guys, like I said, we do this every single Friday. So if you guys want to show up next Friday, Friday after, ask your questions, get things answered live here on the call with us, we're happy to have you. We're happy to answer your questions. If you guys want to get some help from Jared here, if you want to jump on the breakthrough call with him, it's obviously free. It's just really just an assessment to make sure that you have what you need, that if we can provide you with any tools, we will do that for you. Or if we see that we're a good fit to work together, we'll obviously make you an offer. So make sure that you jump on that call. Make sure that you sign up for our newsletter. Make sure you're in our Facebook group so you can engage with us there. And we will see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.